It's that time of year again. It is goal setting time. Hey guys, I'm Allyson Lewis, founder of the 7-Minute Life. We're a time management company, and we're going to help you spend your time focusing on the goals that are most meaningful to you in 2023. I'm about to give you a sneak peek into some of the training that I believe can help you reach milestones you've never even dreamt possible. So stay tuned and let's walk you through the 7-minute process. I believe in order to be successful, goal setting needs to be a process, a step-by-step process of understanding who you are today and who you want to be in the future. In this video, I'm going to give you some in-depth information of what that process looks like. And it's not going to be everything that you've heard in the past. I think goals have to have some newness, some excitement. And we can't just learn about the things that we may need to do. In this class, I'm going to show you how to execute, how to physically take the action so that you can set and achieve goals that matter. There are going to be some bonuses along the way. I'm going to show you actual examples. I'm going to walk you through some goals so that you can see the step-by-step process of how I set goals. And then I'm going to end this with kind of some clever things, some new ideas, a new philosophy on goal setting that we call the art of goal setting. So stay tuned to the end. There are a lot of things that are going to be action-packed in this video, but it is truly an opportunity for you to learn how to set goals that can make a difference in your life. So let me start with the power of goal setting. I have a lot of mentors that at the very beginning of my career said to me, Allyson, unless you can clearly see the goals that you want to reach, they're going to be meaningless. I believe you have to see them, touch them, taste them, be able to almost reach out and touch them. Your goals have to be clear. And I believe there's this burning drive inside some people that helps them reach that goal. We have to find the passion and the motivation. And it even goes so far as to say, goal setting isn't easy. I've been at this a long time. And I believe something like what Jim Rohn said. He said, goals are reached. In other words, successful people reach their goals because they're willing to do what unsuccessful people are simply not willing to do. Let me say that again. Successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are simply not willing to do. Reaching goals requires hard work. It requires perseverance and grit. And the only way we can reach those goals, and when we increase our level of excitement, our level of commitment to reaching those goals. And I believe the only way we can do that is when we really find something important enough to us, a goal that drives us forward, where we can put our heart, body, mind, and soul around reaching that goal. So let me start with the definition of a goal. Let's start at the beginning. It may surprise you that a goal is not the gap in between. Let me just make sure I can grab this. The goal is actually an end point. And there's always a beginning point and an end point of a goal. And the best example I can give is a marathon where you're going to run 26.2 miles. And it's that 26.2 mile finish mark that is the goal. It's that vision of reaching something that is very specific, very clear. But there's also this beginning point. Now, in between a starting point of a goal, when you write it down, and the ending point, there is this period of time. And I want you to realize that time is your most valuable currency. Every moment, every second, time is always moving forward. And it's not this gap in between where you are today and where you want to be that's the goal. The goal is the end result. Setting those goals is the most important thing that you will ever do, because what happens in between where you are today and reaching that goal this journey, and I want you to really hear this, it's the daily journey that becomes the life you experience. Let me say that again. It's this in between from the moment you woke up this morning until you go to bed tonight. It's that in between that becomes the life we experience. And therefore, our goals need to pull us forward. Well, often there's been a gap or a problem, and maybe you haven't reached goals in the past. And often the obstacles that we hear are that I just simply haven't had enough time, or I have too much to do, or I felt overwhelmed. Well, the 7-Minute Life was founded as a time management company, and I'm going to give you the reason why 7 minutes, but I want you to think about how your personal time management skills are going to impact your success or failure as you reach forward toward goals. So I want to really encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you find out about our services, get involved. Because if time management is keeping you away from reaching your goals, then we have a choice to make. We've got to either choose to not reach our goals, or we need to improve our time management skills. But there can be other reasons that we haven't reached our goal. Maybe we just are afraid that we haven't reached our goals in the past, so we're not enthusiastic about setting goals in the future, or maybe we don't have a mentor, or we need more motivation. And if you've experienced limited success, then you're not alone. I believe far too many people talk about goals, but they don't give you the real tools. And that's what's going to make this video different. So here are two of the tools, very simple ways to take this abstract goal and put it into concrete steps. When you download these tools, whether it's 90-day personal goals or 90-day work goals, what you're going to do is you're going to take time to think about what you want, and you're going to take a pencil or a pen, and you're physically going to write down, here are goals that I want to accomplish. And what happens when you write down those goals is that somehow the human brain begins to make a commitment to them. It's that physically becoming aware of saying, yes, this is what I want to accomplish. Well, writing that down is the first step, but I wanted, I made a promise. What's that 7-minute secret? If life happens between where we are today and where we want to be in the future, and time is that measurement, then why 7 minutes? Here's the answer. There are 24 hours in a day, and that breaks down into 1,440 minutes. What I realized is that I needed to have some kind of framework, a habit, where I would learn to take a specific amount of time to truly think about what I wanted to accomplish, to clarify what were those goals, to create a written plan of action, to prioritize my daily task, and to choose, these are the things I'm going to focus my full attention on. I didn't have a framework. So once I realized that there were 24 hours in a day, 1,440 minutes, I began to ask myself, what would happen if I would take 1% of my time, if I would commit to really having a habit, 7 minutes in the morning and 7 minutes in the evening, to truly think about the actions that could lead me towards the goals. So imagine setting a timer in the morning, saying, hey, I can't say the word out loud, but to say, hey, Siri, set a timer for 7 minutes. And then to take out tools that you can write down, these are your goals. This is how you're going to accomplish them. Imagine the power of truly taking time to create a written plan of action so you can reach goals. So that's the secret of the 7-minute life. Beyond that, I think a lot of times we just don't know what goals to set. And so on this slide, I've put down examples of things that you may want to do. So many times we think goals have to be these humongous things, but just take a look at some of these. On a personal side, Maybe over the next 90 days, you'd like to improve your time management or declutter a closet, or maybe implement a self-care plan of action. All of these kind of things, I think, can be good starting points for goals that you may want to accomplish on the personal side. Or what about the work side? You know, COVID hit, and I'm not sure when you're going to be watching this video, but somehow I believe the pandemic that we've lived through over the last couple of years has given people some kind of emotional permission to live a subpar life. And I think we've got to get over that. There's going to come a point where our goals have to lead us not to just get back to where we were, but goals need to call us to propel us to our highest human good. You know, what is it going to be in your personal life or in your work life that's going to call out this better self? When it comes to work goals, maybe it is a career promotion. Knowing and saying, here's what I want to accomplish, and then deciding if I want to change jobs or get a promotion, what are the skill sets that I need to improve to get there? What kind of books do I need to read? Who do I need to hang out? What skill sets do I need? So all of these types of things, whether personal goals or work goals, on this slide, I'm just trying to give you some examples of things that you could do. Now, remember, we talked about 90-day work goals, that a lot of people tell us we need goals, but they don't break it down. So in this case, I'm going to break it down into the steps you need to take to reach the goals that you want to reach. So let's say that you have goals of being in really good physical shape. If your goal is to say, I am in the best physical shape of my life, then the next step is going to be, well, what projects do I need to focus on to be in great physical shape? And further, what would those individual details be like? And finally, you want to break down all of your goals into what we call micro actions. Micro actions are those teeny tiny steps. You know, I believe change happens in an instant. It happens the moment we decide to change. That whole mindset of being different, but just choosing to be different is the first step. Learning how to take actions on a daily basis is what will help us get there. But just like you're seeing these tools on the screen, I think we need, I don't know, we need exercises. We need abilities to write things out, and that's what these tools can do. So I'm going to walk you through, just as I promised, here's how I would execute the goal. So if one of my goals for the next 90 days is to say, I am in the best physical shape of my life, then what I would do is I would download and print the 90-day personal goals. I'd physically take out a pencil and I'd write, I am in the best physical shape of my life. Now, it does a couple of things. One, I'm saying it in present tense as though it's already happened, which drives me. And second, remember, when we somehow take a pencil or a pen and write it down, there's this magic that happens where we begin to make a connection and a commitment to making, you know, that goal come true. So there are 4 steps. On the first step, I've written it down. The second piece is, what are the projects that I would need? So if the goal is I am in the best physical shape of my life, then what are the little steps that I would have to take step by step? So in this case, I've used this projects needed to complete the goal worksheet, and I've outlined 5 actions that I could take. For me to be in the best shape of my life, I might choose to take the action of walking 2 miles 4 times per week. Or I could do calisthenics 2 times a week. I have a dog. I could walk the dog for 20 minutes a day. I could just simply drink more water. Or I could make sure that I get 8 hours of sleep per night. So these are very specific, taking the goal, I'm in the best physical shape of my life, and physically writing down action steps. Well, that's a step. But remember, if I'm going to break it down even further, It's like a mini goal. A project is kind of a mini goal. It's an individual project or a sub goal. If that action is I walk 2 miles 4 times per week, then how can I do that? Again, it's not, oh, yeah, I think we all know we need to walk more. But here's the how I was doing it. I would arrive at the gym to walk 2 miles before my appointment with my personal trainer 2 times a week. So that made it really easy. I was in a situation where I really wanted to take control. One of the goals was to be in better physical condition. I hired a personal trainer. I was with them for 30 minutes and I would go in early. On the other 2 days, I'd set a timer at 4:30 as the time to walk. And I had a concrete path behind my home and it was 1.6 miles. So it really was an easy way to say, here's how I'm going to do it. Now, micro actions. Remember that micro action is really the secret to all goal attainment. If my goal was to walk 2 miles 4 times a week, what were those little things that I could do to help me reach those goals? Well, a micro action is I could choose to put my workout clothes out the night before. I could physically set a timer to leave my home for the gym 30 minutes before I needed to arrive. I could track the length and duration and pace of my walking. I felt like that would really help me. I could set a time, specific days of the week where I could create this habit. And I would track it, just the fact that I had done it, I would actually mark it on my daily progress report, so I'd get credit. So micro actions are those tiny steps that you can actually track and make sure that you're doing. So remember, we talked about the fact that there are 24 hours in a day, 1,440 minutes. In this video, we're talking about goal setting, but imagine adding on the layer, the secret sauce of taking 1% of your time, 7 minutes in the morning and 7 minutes in the evening, to really focus on accomplishing those goals. If you really want to be in the best physical shape of your life, you need a plan of action. Every day, you need to pull out your daily progress report and say, yep, I'm going to commit today to doing that. That whole 7-minute habit can make all the difference in your life. So this is how we do it. When you want to hit a goal, remember the goal is the end point. I think we just need to really simplify it. Bottom line is we ask, who am I today and who do I want to be in the future? We have to put a stake in the ground and say, the only way I can get there is by slowly and simply moving from one side to the other. And that's where we're going to come into the art of goal setting. I believe too many people say, here's where I am today and here's where I want to be. And they look at it as just one step. I'm going to go from one place to another. Well, we can't just blink our eyes and be in the best shape of our lives. It's a process. And I think you need a plan. I never have believed that it was from A to B. I believe it's actually moving from point A to point Z, where every day we can take tiny steps. I believe change happens in an instant. It happens the moment we decide to change. In other words, change happens when we see this end goal, but where things really are executed are in the tiny steps. It's that daily commitment, moving from place to place to place. So here is kind of the final piece of this, is that philosophy of embracing the importance of all this. You got to have a goal. You have to recognize that there's a starting point. Your starting point has to be really specific. Your ending point for your goal has to be very specific. You have to clarify it. You have to identify it, and you have to set a deadline for it. This image is the one that I want you to really embrace. This is a new philosophy, and I think it makes all the sense in the world. This is where we are. We have an idea, some kind of seed of an idea of who we want to be. And I was going to say the clearer, but the more that we can clarify what this person looks like, if we can see where we are today and we can clarify, oh, this is who I want to be, then what we begin to experience is what I call gaps. In life, there are often gaps between who we are today and who we want to be. And humans don't like gaps. What we want to do is we want to fill the gap, and we actually want to move and grow into the people that we are. Well, I want to fill that gap with a little different philosophy. Of course, all of us are learning and growing. But instead of seeing the gap as something negative, I want you to think about the gaps in your life as potential. And I'm going to grab a rubber band here. As you look at a rubber band, what you'll see is that a rubber band always has potential in it. It has the potential to stretch. And the same thing is true for each of us, is that we have the potential to accomplish things. We just haven't done it yet. Yet is such a great word. It doesn't mean I can't do it. It means I just haven't accomplished it yet. So think about all the things that are in your life right now. People that you want to know, skills you want to accomplish. I want to encourage you that those goals, you have the potential to reach them. We just haven't done it yet. And here's, I don't know, this is where the simplicity comes in. In between where you are today and where you want to go, we have to construct a bridge. In order to overcome a gap, we have to have some kind of bridge in between it. And that bridge is the A to Z. That bridge is the action. And this is what separates what Jim Rohn was saying. Successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not. Successful people are willing to take the action needed to move across the bridge. If you're in sales, the salesperson is willing to make the calls, and not just make a few calls, but to make calls and calls and calls and calls. The person that wants to be a doctor is willing to study, and then to study more, and then to study more. If you're an artist, it's that entire spending time doing what you need to do to create excellence. Any kind of goal that we reach, we have to be willing to do the hard work, to take the action. And what I believe is that rather than trying to do everything all at once, we can take this 7-minute idea of micro action, not putting a ton of pressure on ourselves to say we have to do this huge thing all at once, but to break things down into tiny steps where we can really accomplish them. Every goal by anyone that's ever accomplished it has been reached by taking tiny steps. And we call it the doing. It's where you actually do what you said you would do. So as I wrap up this video, I want to remind you that we talked about goals being the ending point, that we have a starting point and an ending point, that time is your most valuable currency, that time is always moving forward. But we have to think about it in a daily sense. You woke up this morning, you're going to blink your eyes and the day is going to end, and we're going to go to bed, and tomorrow the next day is going to happen, and we're going to blink our eyes. The 7-minute life is about taking 7 minutes. When you think about goal setting and daily action, I want you to combine them together. You have to have good time management to reach your goals, and you have to have goals to understand how to spend your time. And if time is moving forward, then I want you to begin to be intentional about how you're going to spend your time today, because either we're going to be intentional about what we will do, or we will blink our eyes and the day will have passed by. But the more frightening piece is you could blink your eyes and a decade could pass you by. So this question that we asked, did I do what I said I would do today, is so relevant. The power of the check mark, of making sure that every day matters. That's where the 7-minute life can help you. So let me wrap up. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. These are the kind of videos that we believe can change your life. But today we've talked about goals are important, that at some point we have to make a choice to be different. I think part of what you have to do is you have to figure out where you want to change. Look at where you want to be. Instill in yourself this philosophy of goal setting where you can overcome gaps and find bridges to get you there. To begin to celebrate and identify potential, regardless of goal setting in the past, look at goals with fresh eyes and see that goals really don't have to just be gaps, but they can be potential. And that we all have that. And if we just begin to take these tiny steps, then the only thing we have to do is really make that commitment to be accountable to the dreams that we have for ourselves, because that's when I believe you can achieve the future that you want. So as I stop this video, I want to share with you that every day matters, that goals are key to your success, and that the 7-minute life is going to be here to help you. So make sure that you click that button, subscribe, get a hold of those tools so that you can start reaching goals. And no matter what, we want to help you prioritize, organize, and simplify your life at work and at home so that you can create a life with more meaning 7 minutes at a time.